Okay. So like I said, we're talking about coffee enema chemistry. Coffee enema chemistry. Sometimes I talk so fast, my words become one. It's very interesting. And the reason I want to talk about this is because kind of, I think I hit on this the other day, and I don't know which Zoom it was because I've done about 70 since that last time we've all been together. But I believe that a lot of us do things and take things because people tell us to. And then you probably have a junk drawer of supplements in your house that you could go open that drawer and look at a product and go, I have no idea why I have this product. Right. And if you were to take it, you're just taking it because somebody told you to take it, but you don't actually know what it's doing inside your body. Right. So, there's a lot of things that we talk about. In fact, we did an event Thursday night, and it was talking about some of the chemistry behind some of the products that we recommend to people. And we do that because we want you to understand that you're not just taking something, like protein powder. You're just not taking protein powder just to take protein powder. Like if I have a client, which I have, who's got low testosterone, I can say, well, if you're not taking the amount of protein your body actually needs and you're complaining about your testosterone being low, well, how do you expect your body to build it if you don't have the protein that makes it? Right? So we want you to understand the chemistry behind the things that we're asking you to do, and the um, chemistry behind what it's doing to your body when you take it versus just me telling you to take it. And that's where the coffee enema comes in. Because yes, every time I get on a new call with people, with new clients, and I say to them, you're going to be doing coffee enemas, and their first reaction is like, yeah, I am. And I'm like, yeah, you are. Because the coffee enema has so many things that it does inside of us that some of the things we're going to talk about tonight might blow your mind. Okay, so I always tell people, the coffee enema is something that I will never stop doing. I won't, because even we'll get into this, but even, there's a lot of practitioners offering like high dose vitamin C. Well, why do they offer high dose vitamin C? Because we need to have the balance between oxidant and antioxidant. And, a high dose vitamin C is an antioxidant. However, when it gets into your body at certain levels, it can turn into an oxidant, and it can kill things, and it can support, people feeling better and things like that. Well, that's all fine and dandy. However, we still need to have anti and oxidant. We don't want to wipe out entirely. And most people don't know a coffee enema does the same thing. The chemistry in it has that ability. And it actually keeps it in a balance in a safer way. So then we're not just going in as an oxidant and wiping out everything entirely, because we've got to have the beautiful balance as to the yin to the yang, the sun to the moon, the hot to the cold, the everything to the everything. There has to be balance. Okay, so there's a lot of things that the coffee enema does inside of us that we don't even know is happening as we're doing them. So it's not just to detox your body and so you get to see your worms. That's a bonus, in my opinion. That's like a God wink. You know what I mean? Like, thanks, dude. You just showed this person that they have these critters inside of them. And that's not the point of the coffee enema. So we're going to go through what is actually happening when we do a coffee enema, so that you understand when you're doing it, like, wow, this is hitting a lot harder than I thought, right? So I'm just going to go through it. Like I said, if you have questions, please ask the questions, because we can turn this into a conversation, because, I mean, everybody's going to have questions, right? And the more we talk about it, the more we can understand. And I find that when I have questions and I actually just say them out loud, I actually can get a better answer than when I'm just like, it's in here and I'm just pondering it over and over and over. We start to, create more availability to help people understand. All right. So most people think coffee is a stimulant, right? We drink coffee. Well, we don't. I don't drink it. My butt drinks it. But most people drink coffee because it's a stimulant. However, we need to remember that coffee still is a plant. And plants have a lot of availability to do things that we don't even know that are happening. Chemically, coffee is actually a complex botanical extract containing over 1,000 biologically active compounds that interact with the multiple systems simultaneously in our bodies. And probably most of us have never thought of coffee as that a botanical extract. I would have never said that about coffee in the past. but that's what it is. So first of all, there's something called CAMP, which is cyclic adeno. Here we go with the big words. It's C, capital A, capital M, capital P. What it means is cyclic adenosine monophosphate. Okay, big word. What it means is caffeine, the caffeine in the coffee inhibits an enzyme that's called CAMP. Okay, big word. What does that mean? Well, when it inhibits this enzyme, excuse me, I'm saying this backwards. CAMP is an enzyme inside of your body. Okay. Caffeine actually inhibits another enzyme that's called PDE. Okay. Normally PDE breaks down CAMP. Okay. When caffeine inhibits the PDE, CAMP rises. Everybody got that? Did I just totally butcher that and screw it up? So let's start over. Caffeine inhibits an enzyme that's called the PDD, phosphodiesterase. Big words. PDE. Caffeine inhibits that. PDE then breaks down CAMP. Caffeine inhibits that from happening so the CAMP can actually rise. When CAMP rises, it acts as, Shannon laughed at this, an intercellular text message. Intercellular, inside of the cell. So there's something that's happening outside of the cell, and CAMP then takes it from the outside inside the cell. Your coffee enema makes this happen. So now your cells are communicating. Okay, what are they saying? It's telling your cells it's time to wake up. So not only does caffeine we act as a stimulant. Well, it's actually stimulating your cells to start to communicate better. So it tells them to wake up. It tells them to increase energy production. It tells them to change the enzyme activity that's happening. It will alter ion transport, and it will increase secretion. Now, the other thing that happens, some of the things that it tells it to do, it will tell your cells it's time to release stored glucose and get it out of the liver. So anybody that's got, a thingamajigger on, or, you're watching your sugar, you'll notice your glucose will go up after a coffee enema. Wanda, have you noticed that? No. Check that out if you're still wearing it. It'll actually tell your cells to start to promote fat breakdown inside the fat cells from a coffee enema.
That's cool.
That is cool. It'll also help your cells respond to your hormones. So it's like shaking your cells, going, come on, it's time to get to work. So sometimes people say, oh, I feel a lot going on with my coffee enema. It's starting to give me energy. It's actually waking your body up and telling your body to get to work. It is a vasodilator as well. So it will increase blood flow, and that's why we start to get the energy. It's not the effect of the caffeine. It's the messengers that are going through the body. So virtually every cell in the body starts using this CAMP to start signaling each other. Okay. Mitochondria has a huge effect from the coffee enema. It is what is going to tell or mitochondria is what produces the ATP, which is basically the cellular energy inside of your cells. The coffee polyphenols have been studied for effects on this. Things like oxidative stress. I've been talking about oxidative stress so much lately. It's a big, big topic. Also, the coffee, the polyphenols that are in the coffee also actually start to tell your mitochondria it's time to talk again. So signaling starts to happen. It reactivates your oxygen species balance. So this is where we have oxygen to antioxidant. Okay, so this is where the talk of the high dose vitamin C. Yes, it's an antioxidant. We eat the oranges so we can get the vitamin C, antioxidant. However, at high levels, if you can hit those levels, it becomes oxidant. Okay, there's a balance between that. We don't always want to have pure oxygen. I've seen this even with people that do certain, I don't know if I should say this, certain protocols to drink something that is pure oxygen in their body. And then over time, they don't have the antioxidant component anymore because they've gone completely out of the balance, right? So naturally, with the coffee enema, we can start to support the oxygen species balance between oxidant and antioxidant. So it's going to support both. So we stay in balance. Okay, this is important because too much oxidative stress starts to damage your mitochondria. Once you damage your mitochondria, that's your cellular energy. Okay, too little signaling prevents adaptation. The body actually uses controlled oxidative signals to trigger repair pathways. So if you overdo it or underdo it, right, the balance isn't there, and then we can't start to repair. Okay, the coffee compounds appear to interact with this balance. Your coffee enema helps to bring that balance back into your body, which is pretty mind-blowing. Okay, now, there's a transcription factor that is actually a protein in your body which acts as a gene switch, and it's called the NRF2 activation. Weird, but they got to call it something. You know what I'm saying? Think of it as like a genetic switch, so an off and on switch inside of your body. When this is activated, it increases production of, and I'm going to say this lightly, when this activates, it can give your body the ability to increase natural glutathione. Okay. Superoxide dismutase, which is known as SOD, it increases the production of that. Catalase and heme oxygenase. These are basically your body's own antioxidant defense systems. Everybody good there? Okay. So without, well, I'll just keep going. Certain coffee compounds appear capable of influencing these signal pathways, which is pretty cool. This is why many researchers are more interested in what coffee causes the body to produce rather than what the coffee actually contains. Because of the signaling that happens, the messaging that happens, the cells waking up, all of that happens, and then the body starts to go to work. It's kind of like a beehive, well, I can't speak on beehives because I don't have one, but somebody else on here has a beehive. But everybody has their job, and the coffee actually stimulates like, hey, it's 8 a.m. It is time to go to work again. And so everything starts to heal and repair and get back online. Okay, now the whole glutathione, because even in the document I have, it might even say that doing a coffee enema increases your natural glutathione by 700%. That is not the correct way to say it. A coffee enema increases the availability of your body to utilize your glutathione by 700% more than it can without the coffee enema. And again, it's because it's a messenger, it's a signaler. So it wakes up and goes, look, here's our glutathione. We're going to work. We're going to use it 700% more right now. Does that make sense? Versus it increases your glutathione by 700%. That's not the correct way to say it. So glutathione is made from glutamine, glycine, and cysteine. 3 things. Okay. Glycine helps with phase 2 of your liver detox pathways. Again, it's a signaler. Okay. Glycine needs to be in at adequate amounts for your body to utilize it, and your body can't, the amount of glycine we need, we can't keep up with that just from food unless you're eating tendons in steak, ligaments, cartilage. Like back in the day, do you guys remember grandpa like chewing on a chicken bone and all that white around the cartilage around? He's like, just, and most people now like toss it to the dog. That's actually where you're going to get your glycine. We can't eat enough of that. Like when I made bone broth and stuff, it was like, oh yeah, there's glycine in it. It's not the amount that my body needs to keep up with the amount that I need for these things to function, which is why I supplement my collagen now. Because I'm not chewing on the bones. You can't even get me to go to the store and buy a chicken and put that in my mouth. There's no way. I need to see it straight out of the farm. You know what I'm saying? So glycine, glutamine, and cysteine is what glutathione comes from. Okay, it exists in 2 forms. There's reduced glutathione and there's oxidized glutathione. And these have, abbreviations and things like that. But there's also the cells actually maintain the same as I was saying, oxidant, antioxidant. They maintain a balance between the two with the with the reduced glutathione and the oxidized glutathione. You have to have both, and it has to be a beautiful relation. Just like peas and carrots or Forrest and Jenny, right? The ratio is one marker of the redox balance that has to happen in the body. So the coffee compounds have been studied for a long time for their ability to influence the enzymes that are involved in the glutathione, I'm saying two words at once, the glutathione recycling and the utilization by increasing our availability to do so by 700% more. Okay, all that from the coffee enema. So this is often the biochemical basis behind our claims and how people say that it supports the liver, because all this is surrounding the river. Shannon, do you have that picture I sent to you? We're just gonna call your liver a river. It feels like a river when you're having a bile release. So the next part we're going to talk about is the portal circulation and the first pass liver exposure. And I sent her a picture today. You can just put it in the chat and people can click. Well, maybe we should pull it up. I don't know how to pull it up. I don't even know how to get it from my phone to my computer. But basically, it's the fascinating piece of chemistry is where the absorbed compounds actually go first. And your colon drains into first your inferior, right? So your lower, not your superior, your inferior mesenteric vein, then to the portal vein, and then it goes into the liver. And we'll see if we can get that up. I'm gonna have a sip of this. I like visuals personally. So this is your lovely liver. It looks just like a snail. Isn't it fascinating that our liver flukes looks like snails and our liver looks like a snail? But anyway, you can see the inferior mesenteric vein right there in purple, kind of in the middle. You can see the portal vein, and then you can see your liver. So it actually goes into the mesenteric vein first, then to the portal vein, and then it goes up into the liver. And it has to do this, right? Because this is where the coffee's going. We're not going high up in there. So anyway, here's just a lovely picture that you can look at. You can read all that if you like, but I'm going to continue. This means that many absorbed compounds actually arrive at the liver before entering into systemic circulation. Okay, the liver then decides, am I going to store it? Am I going to modify it, conjugate it, excrete it, or am I going to start to recycle it? And think about that. Am I going to store it, modify it, conjugate it, excrete it, or am I going to recycle it? So think about when you go get blood tests and they're like, oh my gosh, your B12 is skyrocketing, right? It's pretty common. Is your body recycling it? And it's going to shoot it out into the blood, and then eventually it's going to come back through. This happens with glucose, vitamin A, B12, iron, and copper. Those are the main ones. So the liver is essentially the body's chemistry laboratory because it's deciding. I mean, it's like you've got this little thing. It's too bad it doesn't talk. It'd be cool if our livers talked. But it's in charge of everything that's going on, and we have no idea that all of this is happening in there. So sometimes people go, oh, well, I went and got a blood test, and they say my B12 is skyrocketing. Well, is it? Or is your liver recycling it right now because it's not storing it? Do you see? I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that, recycling, all that stuff in a little bit. But let's move on to like bile. Okay, bile isn't just digestive fluid. Bile actually contains cholesterol. Here's this big fat word Shannon and I go over. Phosphatidylcholine, okay, which is basically what keeps your cholesterol dissolved so that it can move through your body instead of it turning in and getting stuck in places where it shouldn't, okay? Bilirubin, bile salts, and fat-soluble waste compounds. So that's what bile contains. Now, cholesterol. Your body will actually store it and recycle it because it is so needed for cell membranes, hormones, vitamin D, bile acid production, and brain and nerve function. Your body actually, instead of getting rid of it, recycles it because it is so crucial for your body's function. And here we are stopping it. And what's the study with the people who are on cholesterol medicine, blood pressure medicine? If it's 10 years or more, they're guaranteed to have dementia. What is that? nerve-brain communication. Yes? So your body won't even release the cholesterol because it needs it, because it's so needed for all of those things. And your liver's like, nope, we're not going to get rid of it. We're just going to recycle it. Let's send it to the blood for a while so I can do what I need to do over here. It's like a mom saying, well, I got to get this laundry done. Those kids need to go outside for a little while. And then you bring them back in when you're finished. Do you know what I mean? I know what I mean because I've been there. Anyway.
So then what's the difference between the HDL and the LDL, the good, the bad? Like they're like, oh, your bad is high, but the other one
Well, they're saying your bad is high. I don't think it's bad.
Okay.
I don't believe cholesterol high is a bad thing.
Okay.
And there's new research, and it depends on where you look. Are you looking at the private research, or are you looking at what they're actually putting out to the public research? Because the private actually says the healthier people have higher cholesterol.
It clogs up your blood, right? And then it doesn't go to your heart or something?
Is that what you think?
Isn't that what they say? The bad cholesterol is what clogs your arteries?
Clogs your arteries, yeah.
But do you want that?
The people with the higher cholesterol are the healthier people.
Hmm.
People with the lower cholesterol are the ones having problems. Yeah, so it just depends on who you're talking to. And this is where it becomes, do your research. Learn about what's happening in your body. They should not be trusted, in my opinion. Because you can hear, it's the same as like right now there's big, because everybody's remineralizing their teeth with hydroxyapatite. Okay, well, I'm proof it works. But then they come in and go, but what about the nanoparticles? What about them? They're everywhere. You think the hydroxy's the problem? What about the nanoparticles everybody's up raging about the COVID vaccine? You want those nanoparticles? There's nanoparticles everywhere. If you go turn on your faucet, there's nanoparticles. So who cares about the nanoparticles from the hydroxyapatite? Because I've had that's two, not three. I've had two 3D imaging of my jaw. One of them was a year ago, and I had probably 6 or 7 cavities, and I had one on Tuesday. I don't have any cavities. All I did was started using hydroxy. I've been mouthwashing with chlorine dioxide. I've been doing mineral. I've been doing oil pulling. I'm pretty sure it works. Right? So what they say, I don't care what they say. We have to do our research, which is why I'm preaching to you about this coffee enema chemistry, because the coffee enema chemistry, once you go through this and realize what it does, why would you stop? Why would you stop? If it can help regulate your cholesterol, if it can tell your fat cells to break down the fat, we don't need to hold those anymore. If it can increase the efficacy of your natural glutathione being used 700% more, and it can also support your glycine to help with your liver detox, why would you stop? Okay, so let's keep going. Back to bile. So the liver packages many substances into bile for elimination if it needs to get rid of it. It can decide if it's going to eliminate it, or it's going to recycle it, or it's going to store it. Okay, coffee has been associated with increased gallbladder activity and bile flow in many studies, which we know this because we've all had bile releases from this fun activity we do. So chemically, this means more movement through one of the body's primary elimination pathways. You're taking out the trash, which we all know that. Okay, the microbiome chemistry. This is what really fascinates me, because just like the liver's like HR, the liver's got to be HR. You know, the gut and the microbiome chemistry is like your second brain. It's like the executive assistant to what's happening here. In my opinion, it'd be switched actually, but whatever. Your colon contains trillions of microbes. And we know this. It manufactures butyrate, which we're helping it out sometimes, acetate, propionate, neurotransmitters, and vitamins all happen in your gut. Okay? When we put coffee inside of our bodies, our microbes actually metabolize it. Not just you. Your very intelligent microbiome can metabolize that coffee to signal their own communication pathways. Tell me that's not rad. I mean, how cool is that? Okay. Coffee polyphenols can serve as substrates for microbial metabolism. It's basically what it means. So when microbes metabolize polyphenols, they create new compounds that can have biological activity distinct from the original coffee molecules. So they take it and turn it into what they need it for, to support you, because their goal overall is to support you. So in many ways, and this is why things can look disrupted. In fact, one of our clients is like, yeah, I got to do this test, but how long do I stop? Well, I don't know because I'm not the test person. But we're disrupting a bad environment. So any test should look like, no pun intended, shit. See what I did there? So this is what we want to happen though, because we want the good microbes to not be overridden by the bad ones. It's not just in your gut, it's in the world. It's happening everywhere. The bad microbes are taking over the good. The fire happens, who comes in first? Not the good people, the bad people. You see what I'm saying? So we want this mix up to start to happen. So really, the microbiome is like a manufacturing plant inside of your body to help with neurotransmitters, to help with communication, also helps with the absorption of vitamins and many other things inside your body. Okay. That was number 7. I lost number 8. Okay, let's talk about the nervous system, the enteric nervous system. So your gut contains, and this is still staying with like the brain, gut, the head, heart, the head, brain, the heart, brain, and the gut brain. So we're staying with the gut brain. The gut contains approximately 500 million neurons. In fact, if you've ever studied yoga or anything like that, they talk about the nadis, the energetic pathways that go through just the abdomen in the gut area. And it's like 25,000 different energetic pathways through there. Just so cool. Again, it's sometimes called the second brain. Our coffee compounds can actually interact with the adenosine receptors, acetylcholine signaling, serotonin pathways, and smooth muscle signaling. So smooth muscle signaling is your gut's gone night-night. It's going to wake it right back up and get it to start to function again. All of this starts to influence motility, getting things to work again, fluid secretions, peristalsis, and sensory feedback. So we start doing enemas with said fella on the street. We bring him and say, it's time to start doing some coffee enemas. First few weeks, I have cramps. What is that? Is that bad? No, we are waking up your gut who's been like for a really long time. It's time to start working again. Motility is moving, peristalsis. Your body's like, oh, the gates open. The Hoover Dam has released. It is. We lost Shannon. The hell's happening? Whatever. We'll merge them together. Anyway, so it's the brain communication between the two brains. It's all neurotransmitters. It's amazing that the neurological is just as impressive as the digestive system that's being supported here. Okay. Let's talk about so polyphenols in the coffee can also have an influence on nitric oxide, which is your gas signaling molecule. Okay. It functions includes vasodilation, so expanding, blood flow regulation, cellular communication, and mitochondrial signaling. The body makes nitric oxide from L-arginine through nitric oxide synthesis enzymes. Coffee chemistry appears to interact with this system as well, which is really, really cool. And then we have the redox biology, which is like one of the most advanced concepts. Health isn't simply just more antioxidants is better. The body actually, again, it's this balance, right? We need to have oxidation. Let me try it again, 3rd time's a charge, which means we're losing electrons. And then we have reduction, which means we're gaining electrons. So again, it's the yin to the yang. It's this ever-changing balance that's going on in the body. And this balance is what repairs your body. It helps with your immunity, your energy production, your cellular signaling, and also your gene expression. Right? Who's been told, I have this gene? Not like the Levi gene, but you have a gene. Genes can change if you're willing to do the work to change them. My gene test changed from when I was sick to not sick. Many researchers now believe that the coffee's effects are less about caffeine, obviously, and it's more about the signaling cellular networks that are happening in your body. Okay. Um, from the chemistry standpoint, it introduces the compounds that may interact with the CAMP signaling, the NRF2 pathways, the glutathione systems, the redox biology, the balance between oxygen and antioxidant, and then how your body actually uses your mitochondrial for signaling inside of your body. Reduces the oxidative stress, which then damages the mitochondria. It lengthens the telomeres, and it just continues down the path. Like, we could talk about this for a really long time. But it's basically, if everything's damaged, the telomeres shorten, then we have a problem. So it's going in and starting where it needs to start, and then it starts to expand down the pathways that it needs to go down. It helps with the nitric oxide pathways, obviously supports your bile production and the transport, what it's going to do in your body of storing it, getting rid of it, recycling it. It's going to clean and stop that enterohepatic so that we're not just constantly recycling things. So things always look super high, but it allows us to actually move some of it out as well. It helps with the nervous system from the gut to the brain, which can happen quickly. If anybody's ever been in a car accident, a lot of people crap their pants when they're in a car accident because it just shoots their nervous system and they're just like, I have no control, which I understand that because I used to be terrified of my own body. I was afraid of my body because I thought it was trying to kill me, which got me where I am now. I'm not afraid of my body anymore. I know I can control my body. I can change my nervous system just by breathing. I can get my heart rate up by breathing drastically and rapidly with, different kinds of breath work, but I can also bring it way, way down. So understanding some of these things through this biochemical lens shows you don't have to fear your body. You can control your body. It is your temple. It's not there to tell you what to do. You're here to tell it what to do. And if you understand a lot of these things that are happening in your body, it becomes very freeing to know that just this coffee enema is going to help me. It's going to help with my liver. It's going to help with my microbial metabolism. It's going to help with repairing my body, my hormones, my cholesterol levels. It's not here just for us to see our worms. So I want it to hit differently as to why we're doing these things. And for you guys to understand, like, wow, the coffee enema is actually really powerful. No wonder they got rid of it. It makes sense when you go dive deeper into it. It's not just about putting coffee up your butt and thinking, oh, the caffeine's going to stimulate me. No, it is not. It's going to wake up every system of your body to go in and fight for you. This is what it's going to do. So, I think I pretty much have said everything. Shannon, do you have anything to add?
So why would we ever want to stop doing them?
That's a good question. And that's because that's one of the biggest questions. People ask me, like, are you going to stop doing them? No. Why would I stop doing them? But I have this information that maybe you didn't have. And now you know why I won't personally stop doing them. It's for me, it's part of my life. Yes, Lord?
Can you go over that list again? Coffee enemas helps with cholesterol, liver function, hormones. You just said it before you.
Oh, what did I say? Well, I can go back to where we talked about it. I don't remember exactly what I said.
Just the last.
Oh, cholesterol. It's going to help with your cholesterol. It's going to help with your hormones. Certain. It's going to help with repairing tissue. It's going to help with the oxidant antioxidant balance that happens in your body. It helps with your microbes, your microbiome in your gut. They actually use the compounds in the coffee. They metabolize them separate from you. That to me is like mind blowing, which then if you think about what's the effect of a healthy microbiome, brain fog, right? People sleep better. So it's going to, all these symptoms everybody's experiencing can simply be supported with a coffee enema. There's so many things. B12 supports B12. I said it also supports, did I say vitamin D? Bile acid production, the brain nerve communication. It tells the body, or it tells the fat cells it's time to burn fat, because it actually goes inside the cells and shakes things up. Time to listen. It's like if you owned a restaurant and you stop by at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, everybody's just standing around filing their nails, and you're like, whoa, what is happening here? Like, no. If there's time to lean, there is time to clean. Let's get to work. That's basically what the coffee enema is going in and doing, telling everything, get up. It is time to work here. So it brings everything back online. It's a communication network. It's messaging and signaling.
And it does everything through the colon.
So it goes from the colon into like we showed in the image. I don't have the image. Through up into the liver, because really your intestines are attached to this sheet. Has a name. It starts with an M. And your nutrients and stuff go in through that and then go up to where they need to go. And so the coffee components, not just the caffeine, the theanine, the palmitic acid, all these different components actually go in there, and the systems in different parts of your body will utilize the certain things to stop enzymes, to increase enzymes, to keep this, like, it's almost like it's rebooting your computer, right? Even when we talked about the cellular messenger, right? With one enzyme actually gets stopped so the other can rise up to say, hey, wake up, versus just staying in this stagnant place. Make sense? It's pretty cool. Mesentery. Thank you, Valencia. I'd like to hold one in my hand, right? So if you've ever seen, like if you go to Mexico and they have these white dresses and all these ruffles at the bottom, like imagine that skirt is a sheet, the mesentery, and all those ruffles is what your colon, your large intestine, small intestines attached to, and nutrients come through the mesentery and go up into the veins. It's really cool. Taylor, I can't see stopping my coffee, and it is. I believe it's a part of your lifestyle. It becomes, But I just want you guys to understand, like, wow, this has that effect. It's doing all of those things versus it increases your glutathione to pull toxins. It's so far beyond what we understand it can do. And like I said, this is nothing. The sheets that I printed out and, created and wrote all over, I could go on and on and on for hours about this because it blows my mind. There's things happening inside of us that we don't even understand are happening. So this is when they say, whoever they are, coffee enema will kill you. Oh, for real? Tell me how. Because nobody goes, how? Or asks questions or even gives resistance. Oh, it will? Okay. No, it won't. No, it won't. Ask the questions. Why? Peel the layers of the onion. A coffee enema will kill you. Why? What would you, I don't even know what an answer would be to that. You're engorging your intestines with coffee? Well, no, if I'm not thirsty, my body's probably going to drink the water right on out of there. But how's it going to kill me? Like, start asking the questions, because I've had clients that have gone to a hospital because they had cramping, which is communication. And the doctor said, if you do another one, it will kill you.
So, April, this is Barbara.
Hi, Barbara.
Do you have, I know you do, like, do you have the understanding or the steps or the who or the they that, I know they used to do enemas in the hospitals all the time. Why did they take them out? Why did they stop?
Well, it all goes back to the School of Medicine.
Okay.
They were in the Merck manual in 1972, which is the medical manual. I have a copy on my thing. I have a copy from 1972 and I have a copy from 1974. They are in there in 1974 and two, and they are out in 1974. My, you know what that is, don't you guys? My tinfoil hat theory is that if we knew the chemistry of what a coffee enema could do and how it supports your body, has anybody ever read up on this like this before?
No, I had no clue.
How healthy would we be? Because I know how healthy I am. And I've only been doing them since 2020-ish. People, they're back in thousands of years ago when there's in kings and the queens, they made their staff do a coffee enema every day before they started working. Because they thought clearer, their minds functioned better, and they were healthier. They were more effective.
Well, then you just answered the question.
They took it out for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't want us healthy. They want us dumbed down and sick so we can feed the sick, silly system. Okay. Right. Got it. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching a show the other night that has nothing to do with this, but they said the person it was a medical show, right? And they said, the person needs hydration. Give them an enema right away. Give them an enema. Mm-hmm. And, it's based back in like the 1950s or something. And I just thought that was hysterical because
absolutely,
that's what they did.
Yeah. And then recently for me, the last, I don't know how frequently, but I always tell Shannon, she's like my coffee enema podcaster because every day I tell her how my coffee enemas go. And for the last week, at least 3 of them I did not release. I absorbed all that water. What does that tell me? I'm dehydrated. So it is a fantastic way to get fluids into your system if you are actually dehydrated. It's fantastic. Doesn't have to go the long way. It just goes right on in there. Your large intestines, one of the biggest jobs it has is to absorb water. Well, there we go. So if you look back, and I have actually inside of our Telegram, in the coffee enema thing, I have a document from the early 1800s talking about the coffee enema. And even, we have the clister. Well, the original coffee enema was called the clister. It was fancy. And that's where that name of that device comes from. So they've been doing them for thousands and thousands of years. And then, as with anything, big change, things disappear. And they just disappeared. And then they became funny. This is why some people are like, oh, my mom did that to me when I was a little kid. And they are like, nope, PTSD, I don't want to do that. Well, because people knew it was a treatment. They would put turpentine inside of their enemas to go in and kill parasites. They would put chamomile tea in there. I bet people would put warm milk because why? Protein. Parasites love protein. So you'd shove it in there, bring them all. It's like turning on a light for bugs. And then, bye-bye. Out you go. So they served huge purpose. There are a couple hospitals. There's one actually in San Diego.
Milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Exactly. Attract them and then use it to your advantage and blast them out of there. But I know there is, I think it's in San Diego, there's a hospital that still does enemas. And even, I'm not going to say names, but I have clients who have family members that have been doing the GLP shot and they end up in the hospital because everything's paralyzed. And they'll beg, like, please do an enema. And they're like, we can't. It's so impacted, it could tear. And then what? So they can't do it in some situations. It's like, well, what are you going to do in that situation? Like Shannon was saying, this lady had to have an emergency surgery. Well, the GLP shot actually makes it so that your stomach is full over a cycle of, like, normally for us, it's 2 hours. It keeps it full for over 24 hours. If you have to have an emergency surgery and your stomach's full, you don't get it. You could die. So this lady completely impacted. They're like, there's nothing we can do about it. We can't encourage a bowel movement because it'll kill her. So instead, they went in and gave her a poop bag. That's what you get in those situations. So sometimes they can encourage it, but most of the times they won't. They won't even allow it, which is unfortunate. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Shanae?
I'll stop recording.
Okay.